Boundless fortune. Let us begin today's session with a few prayers. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधरा श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. We have been conducting this book reading series based on Srila Prabhupada's book Elevation to Krishna Consciousness from the past 8 weeks, and today is the 9th session. So this book has got wonderful things for us to know. For a beginner in spiritual path, there are many guidelines which can actually give us a lot of clarity in many concepts. Elevation to Krishna Consciousness. This book is authored by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada, the founder Acharya of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, and we would like to dedicate this session to His Divine Grace. So let us begin today's session. Boundless fortune. We all crave for prosperity, peace, wealth. Sometimes the wealth can actually create problems in terms of a person becoming more anxious to maintain his acquired wealth. Sometimes a rich man doesn't get good sleep in the night because he's always worried about his security, whether somebody will take it away or what. Rather than accumulating external wealth, which can put us into an anxious situation, there is another kind of wealth that we can all actually aspire to accumulate. And this wealth, no one can take us away from us. So let's see what is that wealth and what is this boundless fortune. Let's go through some content of this book, Elevation to Krishna Consciousness, and we shall discuss about it. Now, the format of this evening's session will be like this. There will be about 4 slides which has some content from this book, Elevation to Krishna Consciousness. Some of you can volunteer to read each slide, and then we shall have a short discussion to make the concepts a little clear. And towards the end of the reading session and discussion, we will be having an online live quiz. It will be a very interesting one. It will help us to recall and reinforce the learning that we had in the session. So without much delay, let's begin. Boundless fortune. So who would like to read the first part? You can raise your hand. And who would like to read? Okay, Karthikeya would like to read. So Karthikeya, yes, please go ahead. Does money bring in peace?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Okay. Does money bring in peace? Consequently, although there is no lack of money in the world, there is a scarcity of peace. So much human energies is being diverted to making money. For the general population has increased its capacity to make more and more dollars. But in the long run, the result is that this unrestricted and unlawful monetary inflation
Inflation.
has created a bad economy all over the world and has provoked us to manufacture huge and costly weapons to destroy the very result of such cheap money making. The leaders of the big money making countries are not really enjoying peace, but are making plans to save themselves from imminent destruction by nuclear weapons.
Yes, thank you very much. So this is a continuation of the thought process which was presented in the previous part of the book. In the previous part of the book, Srila Prabhupada was talking about the mentality of demoniac people, quoting from the 16th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. So the people who do not have a spiritual outlook about life, about this world, they think that money and material acquisitions can give us peace and happiness or comforts, etc. So they go on a gold rush. They go on accumulating a lot of money, wealth. Now, is their assumption true? Can money and material acquisitions really bring in peace and happiness in our lives? So we need to really challenge this assumption. Now, Srila Prabhupada is saying here, in this world there is no lack of money, but still there is a scarcity of peace and happiness that we are seeing, whether on an individual level or in the international level, country level. We see that even though there is no lack of money, there is definitely a scarcity of peace and happiness. Lot of energy, in fact, entire human energy is devoted towards this money making process. Everybody is simply interested in accumulating money. Apna sapna money, money. Money is sweeter than honey, especially if it is an easy coming money, isn't it? In fact, the greed of people has increased so much. We are also part of the system. We are not away from the system. It is a self-criticism that we are trying to do here, because sometimes self-criticism can actually lead us to self-realization. That is the whole point. It's not that we are some elevated beings and we are criticizing somebody. No, we are also part of the same system. So money, people have become so greedy to such an extent that people are ready to kill each other, kill their own relatives for the sake of money. That we are seeing, isn't it? So many criminal cases that we see, crime happening. People, the root cause of this will either be any crime you see, the root cause will either be money, property, or it will be some illicit affairs, illicit relationships. So, to what degree people can fall down, being blind to accumulate so much money, they can even kill their own parents, they can kill their wives and husbands, they can kill their own children, they can kill anybody for that matter. So, simply thinking money will give me happiness, money will give me pleasure, it is actually a symptom of lack of proper trained intelligence, lack of spiritual values. When we become so much blind due to material attachments, we actually lose the very purpose of our existence. And that is what is happening. So everybody is simply interested in making money by hook or crook. And because of this, what is happening? Because of such unrestricted and unlawful monetary inflation. See, this is another thing. Today we have paper money. Paper money means what? Let's say the paper says it is 100 rupees. The paper, the money is printed. The currency note, it says 100 rupees. Is it actually worth 100 rupees? Is that paper actually worth 100 rupees? No. We all have this experience when demonetization was announced in our country. All of a sudden, overnight, 500 rupees currency note, 1000 rupees currency notes, they became no more than a paper. We all know this, isn't it? Actually, it is only paper. But this face value has been impressed upon that paper. Earlier, during the Vedic culture, it was not so. Vedic culture, even though barter system was there, they used gold currencies, gold, silver, or even cows were treated as uh, go dhana. Dhana means wealth. A person's richness was calculated in terms of how many cows he has got. Now that really had some value, unlike today's paper currency. Of course, now we have plastic currency, we have cryptocurrency, and there's no end to this invention of artificial money. Now, because of this, uh, so even though people may go on accumulating a lot of wealth, uh, can a rich man eat currency notes for his breakfast, lunch, and dinner? No, right? Money is only a means, a medium of exchange. It is not the end. Through the money, you have to purchase some food and then eat, isn't it? So, anyway, so unrestricted, unlawful acquisition of money has simply led to uh, so much chaos in the economy. So, on one side, we see people accumulating lot of wealth, becoming richer and richer day by day, richy rich. On the other side, we see people also becoming poor and poor. There are people who are remaining poor and poor. There are people who become richer and richer, right? This is because we had discussed about this point a few sessions before. People have failed to recognize that everything is owned and controlled by the Lord. Ishavasyam idam sarvam. This Ishavasyam principle has been forgotten. They think that I am the owner. I work hard and I get money and I am the owner, I can enjoy. And we also see a very glaring negativity that has come up with because of this cheap money making, as Prabhupada is pointing out here. The manufacture of huge and costly weapons to destroy each other. Countries are stockpiling nuclear weapons. And this is a result of unwanted big money making. When you have money, you don't know what to do with that money. So you have to show your power to the other countries. So you start making weapons and stockpiling, and then keep showing other countries, see, I'm so powerful. One small thing you do, I'm going to just drop a nuclear bomb upon you. So everybody is practically leading a life of fear. So if money and material progress should have actually made our life better, then why is that people are always in a state of fear? Isn't it? So this we have to keep in mind. So this is not the way to achieve peace. Let's move forward. Who would like to read next? That spoils money. Interesting. So who would like to read? You can raise your hand. Okay, nobody's coming forward. So I'll only read then. Should I? Okay. In fact, huge sums of money are being thrown into the sea by way of experiments with these dreadful weapons. Such experiments are being carried out not only at huge cost, but also at the cost of many lives. In this way, the nations are being bound by the laws of karma. When men are motivated by the impulse for sense gratification, whatever money is earned is spoiled, being spent for the destruction of the human race. The energy of the human race is thus wasted by the laws of nature because of man's aversion to the Lord, who is actually the proprietor of all energies. Now, an interesting point made out here. Now, this reminds me about Ravana. We know Ravana, the demon in Ramayana. He was a very intelligent man, a very powerful man. His goal was to make the whole world, bring the whole world under his feet, isn't it? He had practically captured everybody. Even the great devatas were afraid of him. And what was his policy? That is what is described here actually. His policy was, he wanted to enjoy Lakshmi, that is Sita Mata, for his own enjoyment. So he kidnapped Mother Sita separated Sita from the Lord, he thought that that will bring in prosperity, enjoyment in his life. But we all know what happened. He was destroyed. His entire empire was destroyed. Now, this is a lesson for us. If we follow Ravana's policy of trying to become averse to the Lord, trying to challenge the authority of the Lord, thinking that I am the master of all that I survey, everything belongs to me. No, we will actually not be prosperous. In fact, we will meet with a very deadly destruction. That is called the law of karma. Nothing in this world you can take it for granted. Every action that you do, you will have to pay for it, either prepaid or postpaid. If you have done accumulated lot of pious credits in the past, you will enjoy it in the future. Sometimes you do something wrong against others and you think you are enjoying, but you will have to pay for that in the future. So here Srila Prabhupada is saying, when we become motivated by the impulse of sense gratification, and whatever money we have earned, it will simply be spent for the destruction of the entire human race. So if sense gratification is the goal of our activities, then we should be 100% rest assured that, 100% we should be expecting that it's going to lead to our own destruction. So the virus that spoils money is this, our impulse for sense gratification or personal enjoyment. Rather than recognizing that money and all the wealth is actually the property of God, instead of thinking that, if one thinks that this is my property, I am the rightful enjoyer, then we will be simply doomed, just like Ravana. So that is a very important thing to note. Let's go to the next slide. Anyone interested to read can raise your hand. Yes, Pandit. Pandit can read now the third slide. Please read. True purpose of wealth.
Okay, Prabhu, I will read. True purpose of wealth. Wealth is worshipped and is referred to as Mother Lakshmi, or the goddess of fortune. It is her position to serve Lord Narayana, the source of all the Naras, or living beings. The Naras are also meant to serve Narayana under the guidance of the goddess of fortune, that is Lakshmi. The living being cannot enjoy the goddess of fortune without serving Narayana, and therefore whoever desires to enjoy her wrongly will be punished by the laws of nature. These laws will make certain that the money itself will bring about destruction instead of peace and prosperity.
Very nice. Thank you. See, unfortunately, since sense gratification has become the goal of everybody's life, and accumulating money is very much required to secure sense objects, isn't it? Therefore, everybody is running behind money. Now, the Vedic conception of money is explained here. Chanakya Pandit, one of the great economists of India, he said, Loshtravat paradravyeshu. Paradravya, others' wealth should be treated as loshtra, pebbles, as stones on the street. That is a gentleman's behavior. A gentleman knows that the Lord has set aside as my quota for my enjoyment. I can use it, but I cannot take others' money and use. I cannot trespass into another's property. So this is the Vedic understanding. But today's understanding is entirely different. By hook or crook, get money. In fact, we see many movies made in the earlier days, hero in a movie means he's a gentleman. He should always set ideals for the society. That is the understanding of hero in the earlier generation movies. But today's movies, we see unfortunately, heroes are those who are dacoits. Heroes are gangsters, and heroes are the one who are more smarter. They outsmart the police. Such kind of a heroes are actually showcased in today's movies, unfortunately. And what kind of an education or what kind of a moral value today's generation will get, isn't it? It's very pathetic. Now, here the Vedic conception and purpose of wealth is explained. In the Vedic idea, wealth is referred as Mother Lakshmi, goddess of fortune, Bhagya Devata, Lakshmi Devi. And her purpose is her position is that she is always engaged in the service of Lord Narayana. As we can see in the picture, Lakshmi Devi is massaging the lotus feet of Narayana, showing that one will be happy and pacified, peaceful only when one engages in the service of God. Lakshmi Devi herself, who is aspired by everybody in this world. Who does not want wealth? Everybody wants wealth. But the goddess of wealth herself is engaged in serving God, serving the Lord. She's teaching her by her own example, teaching us by her own example. And who is this Narayana? He is the source of the Naras. Nara means living beings. All of us have one common source, Narayana. So we are also actually meant to serve Narayana only, like Lakshmi Devi. Now, if we want Lakshmi Devi, we can get, but without serving Narayana, we cannot get. Without serving Narayana, whatever wealth we accumulate, as we read in the previous slide, it is simply going to lead, it is an illusion, it is going to lead to our own destruction. But when we serve Narayana, and by the blessings of Narayana, when we get Lakshmi, that is real wealth. That nobody can take away. So, all these laws of nature are very strong, they're very stringent, and they punish anybody who desire to enjoy wealth without serving Narayana. This is the Vedic understanding. So, if we want real prosperity, peace, then we have to adopt this means of becoming Narayana conscious, Krishna conscious. And through Krishna consciousness, when we accumulate wealth in a Krishna conscious manner, in a God conscious manner, then that wealth leads to our advancement. Whereas that wealth which is accumulated without Krishna consciousness, it leads to destruction. No peace, no prosperity. Let us move forward. Who would like to read the last part of today's reading? Can raise your hand. Okay, I'll randomly choose somebody. Let's see. Neeraj, can you please read?
Okay. Unlawful money is snatched away. Unlawfully accumulated money is now being snatched from the miserly citizens by various methods of state taxation for the future civil and international war fund, which is spending money in a wasteful and destructive manner. The citizens are no longer satisfied with just enough money to maintain a family nicely and cultivate spiritual knowledge, both of which are essential in human life. Now everyone wants money unlimitedly to satisfy insatiable desires. In proportion to the people's unlawful desires, their accumulated money is taken away by the agents of illusionary energy in the shape of medical practitioners, lawyers, tax collectors, societies, constitutions, so-called holy men, feminine, I think, earthquakes, and many similar calamities.
Okay, nice, thank you. That was Neeraj from UAE who is attending our session. Okay, good. So unlawful money is snatched away. See, money is called chanchala. Today it is in one's pocket, tomorrow it will be in somebody's pocket. That is the nature of money. Hmm? But but there are two kinds of money, as we already discussed. Lawfully gained money in God consciousness. It can help us to enhance our peace. It brings peace, prosperity. But if the same money is earned through unlawful means, then it will actually show its real nature of chanchala, of being illusory. Hmm? So the money that a person accumulates through his whole life working so hard, we have seen many examples. Towards the end of his life, a rich man gets various kinds of diseases, admitted in the hospital. All his accumulated wealth is gone in paying hospital bills. That means that person was thinking that this money will help me at least towards the end of my life. Now I am settled. I don't have to work hard. I'm retired happily now. But that money is taken away. And we also see friends and relatives also abandon a person who does not have money. He has no value. Because in this world, money is given more priority than relationships. So all these are the glaring, all these are the realities of this world, sad realities. So therefore, if we try to unlawfully accumulate money and think that I will enjoy it, no, the laws of nature will not allow us. In so many ways, in the form of taxation, in the form of so many laws, in the form of famines, earthquakes, natural calamities, our earned money will be gone. Therefore, goal of life should not be earning money. Artha should never be the goal of life. Artha means accumulating money. Artha should be in line with dharma. Then there will be peace and prosperity. Today, the situation is topsy-turvy. Dharma is not given priority. Artha, accumulating money, is given priority. That's why even though people accumulate so much money, they're not happy. So therefore, our Krishna consciousness movement, we are trying to educate people, trying to share this knowledge, set things right in life. Priority is not sense gratification. Priority is self-realization. Self-realized person will be satisfied with whatever comes on its own accord. Another important thing is, don't make earning money a very cumbersome business in your life. Our means of earning money should be very simple, so that we have enough time to invest for activities of self-realization. So then we can, so the boundless fortune in our life is when we understand that true wealth can never be taken away. The true wealth is engaging in service of Narayana, who can give us as much wealth as we want. So that is the boundless fortune. So based on the reading that we had just now, we are going to have a simple quiz now, last 10 minutes. I'm going to ask questions. You will have 30 seconds time to answer. Within 30 seconds, you'll have to type in your answers and send it to me on the chat box on Zoom itself. Okay, all the best to all of you. I request everyone to please, doesn't matter. Here comes the first question of today's quiz. You have to just type A, B, C, or D and send it to me. Unlawful and unrestricted monetary inflation has created a bad economy by provoking us to dash. Your time starts now. Create job opportunities, make industries, manufacture weapons, make hospitals. Send it to me privately on the chat box. Okay, Pandit has given an answer. Sharat, same answer. Okay, Jagabandhu, yeah, he has also given the same answer. Everybody has given the same answer, but let's see whether it's right or wrong. Let's see the answer. The answer is C, manufacturing weapons. That's the right answer. Congratulations to all of you who have given the answer. So unlawful, unrestricted monetary inflation has led to manufacturing weapons. Next question. Question number 2. Huge amount of money is being thrown out to the sea in the form of experiments on deadly and costly weapons. What is its consequence? Your time starts now. Aquatic species extinction, bondage by laws of karma, monetary inflation, rise in employment. A, B, C, or D? Jagabandhu, okay. Sharat, Sanatana Dhamadas, Krishna Pranadas. Okay. Everybody is saying the same answer. Let's see the answer. The answer is B, bondage by laws of karma. That's the right answer. So you get what you sow, and you reap what you say. So, okay, third question. How is energy of the human race thus wasted by laws of nature? You will have to type your answer and send. There's no multiple choice here. How is the energy of human race wasted by the laws of nature? How everybody is working very hard, using their energy to earn money. How do the laws of nature spoil their plans? Very easy. Time up. So the answer is because of man's aversion to the Lord. Because we are averse to the Lord, all our energy is wasted by the laws of nature in terms of giving diseases, earthquakes, calamities. All of these are the different ways. Jagabandhu has given the right answer. Next question. Question 4. Multiple choice. What is the meaning of Narayana explained here in the text? Your time starts now. Abode of all the Naras, source of all Naras, one whose abode is the water born from Nara. So be careful while you're choosing the answer. Misleading, confusing options are there. Time up. So let's see the answer. Jagabandhu and Sanatana Dhama Prabhu have given the right answer. It is B, the source of all Naras. Next question. Question number 5. Under whose guidance the Naras are meant to serve Narayana? Type your answers and send. Under whose guidance the Naras, the living beings, all of us human beings, are meant to serve Narayana? Under whose guidance? Okay. Sanatana Dhamadas has given the right answer. Pandit has given the right answer. Okay. I think some of you who joined later are giving a different answer. Jagabandhu has also given the right answer. So the answer is Goddess of Fortune, Mother Lakshmi. She is leading by her own example how to serve Narayana. Next question. Question number 6. How is unlawfully accumulated money now being snatched? How is it being snatched? Very easy. There are many methods mentioned there. You can mention one or two. How unlawfully accumulated money is now being snatched from people? Please type in your answer. Send to me quickly. Time is running. Time up. Nobody has attempted this question. Okay, now the answers are coming. Sharad, Jagabandhu. Okay, by the agents of illusory energy. Of course, in the form of tax collection in the form of medical bills, in the form of so many things, right? Okay, next question, seventh one. What are the two things essential in human life? As we read from the purport, as we read from the book. Of course, we didn't elaborate on that, but they were very striking. Two things essential in human life. Time is running. This we read towards the end. Okay. Pruthu Prabhu is saying self-realization, spiritual knowledge. Somebody is saying Jagabandhu. Let's see the answer. Mohan has got it right. Yes, maintaining a nice family and cultivating spiritual knowledge. Mohan has given the right answer, accurate answer. So these two things which are actually essential now are neglected now, right? Family, culture, if it is nicely taken care, people can take up spiritual life very nicely. So family is such a wonderful platform. Okay, last question for today. Why is money accumulation by citizens mentioned as unlawful here? Options: unlawful usage, unlawful desires, unlawful means of accumulation. What is the right option? A, B, or C? Jagabandhu has given an answer. Jagabandhu says B. Sanatana Dharma Prabhu says A. Others are not saying anything. Okay. Pruthu Prabhu is saying C. Pandit is saying C. Let's see the answer. The answer is B, unlawful desires. It all starts with unlawful desires. So unlawful desires means what? Simply desiring sense enjoyment. So because of that, it is unlawful. Remember Ravana's example. Unlawful desire of enjoying Mother Sita, who is actually the property of Lord Rama. Now, because of that, he met with destruction. Therefore, it is unlawful. Okay, so we have come to the end of the quiz. Now we shall chant 3 times Hare Krishna mantra. So together, first we'll chant the Panchasattva mantra once. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shrivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. I request all the participants to chant at least one round of Hare Krishna mantra every day. It can help us to revive our original God consciousness. Okay, so please provide your valuable feedback at this link, bit.ly/td feedback. So many students of the Indian Institute of Science, IISc Bangalore, who are part of our Trans Dimensions Club, have worked very hard making this PPT and creating this quiz for all of us. Let us thank them and also give your valuable feedback regarding the quiz, regarding the session. The link is posted for everyone on the chat box. Please do click the link and give your feedback. Thank you all for being part of today's session. Hare Krishna.